What if Naruto was OP bit neglected part 9? Let's go. In the midst of the vote, 3 of the 5 parties had now locked in their vote. Well, mentally. The Leaf, represented by Minato, voting for Naruto's title of Jonin being taken away, down to the core, making Naruto not even a genin anymore, since, according to them, he cheated and lied his way through the ranks. The Hidden Cloud was obviously against this, as they were the ones who made Naruto a Jonin in the first place, and he is a key part of their village, being one of the strongest, if not the strongest person in the village, having defeated their Kage. And the Hidden Rock, who hated the Leaf, and especially Minato, also voted against Naruto's abolishment. So currently, it's 2-1, the leading force being Naruto keeping his Jonin title. So 2 parties remain, the village hidden in the sand and the village hidden in the mist. The sand did have alright relations with the Leaf, but couldn't ignore that Naruto single-handedly tamed their Jinchuriki and made him become an influential and strong figure in the sand, because he was powerful like a Jinchuriki, but also smart when it comes to politics, and was even rumored to become the next Kazekage if he aged a bit and got more experience. The Kazekage was split. Meanwhile, the 5th Mizukage, Mei, was thinking about her vote, but decides to vote along with Minato / the Hidden Leaf, as to not be mixed up in any drama, since because she didn't really care, she just chose the safer vote for her village, since she didn't want to become enemies with the Leaf. So the votes now were 2 against 2, and the final decision would be up to the Kazekage. At this point, the actual voting began, because as this whole monologue was just the Kages thinking of their answer of the vote. The vote began with the question: who is for Naruto losing his rank as a Jonin and even his ranks of Chunin and Genin, which were only achieved by manipulation and lying? Minato was the first to vote and raised his hand. The Raikage did not raise his hand, for he was against the vote. Mei, the 4th Mizukage, was for it, and the Tsuchikage against it. So now it was up to the Kazekage. He would be the one to decide Naruto's future. The Kazekage thought about it and said, "How about we let Naruto decide? He is the one in question after all." "What do you mean?" the Raikage asked curiously. "Of course he's gonna choose to stay a Jonin," Minato yelled angrily. "It's not gonna be that simple. He will have to prove that he's worthy of the title himself," the Kazekage said. "I will do it," Naruto said, confident as ever. "I, Naruto, accept this challenge of yours to prove myself." "So be it. Is everyone in favor?" the Kazekage asked. "Minato, you can even pick a test for Naruto to prove himself if you want to." Everyone nodded, even Minato was confident, because he could just choose something impossible for Naruto to do, which would make him lose his title of Jonin. It's that simple. And he could blame it even more on Naruto because he technically had the chance, right? It was the ultimate victory. The first test was a really easy one, to prove that Naruto was allowed to keep his rank of Genin. The Kazekage chose this test, and it was just to make any type of clone jutsu flawlessly, and he would pass. He only had to do one clone too, so it was really easy. Naruto did a tailed beast style clone perfectly, which allowed him to pass with no problem. The second test was much harder. It was to fight Kushina Uzumaki and stay conscious and in the ring standing for more than a minute. This was gonna be a difficult one, because Kushina had incredible, extraordinary amounts of chakra, being a former Jinchuriki and still having some of the Tail Beast chakra, and being a full Uzumaki, who are known to have many times over that of a normal human's chakra, even more than any of the Uchiha or Senju. Naruto was to fight a powerful Jonin, and he definitely would. He easily outmatched him in speed, however, and won the fight like that. Similarly, like the way he fought the Raikage, where he just hit a specific chakra point with the help of the Byakugan, basically knocking out her chakra system. However, he hid his Byakugan as best as possible from all the Kage, especially Minato, as to not make the situation even more complicated and have to explain himself since he's far from being a Hyuga. This now completely negated Kushina's massive amounts of chakra, and therefore Naruto easily won the fight, since his taijutsu was far superior to Kushina's. Now for the final test. Minato said that Naruto was to fight himself. So Naruto would have to fight the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze, and if he was able to last more than 30 seconds standing in the fight, he deserved to have the title of Jonin. Everyone went into an open area only about 50 meters away, 150 feet if you're American by the way, where Naruto and Minato would fight. Everyone backed off from the two fighters and formed a sort of circle. Yujito gave Naruto a quick kiss, and then she joined the Raikage and Killer Bee in the circle. The fight was now to begin. In 3, 2, 1, go! Minato immediately rushed towards Naruto and threw a kunai, which Naruto dodged. But unlike the Raikage, Minato was so fast that a simple technique of the Rinnegan like pushing or pulling would not be enough to render him immobile. Minato was just simply that fast. Naruto basically copies Minato's moves, takes out a kunai out of his pocket and charges towards Minato. Minato takes out another kunai, and they meet halfway and their kunais clash. They make a clanging sound, but only 1 second later, Minato is behind and above Naruto, charging up a Rasengan to smash into Naruto's spine. Naruto turns around quickly and punches Minato in the gut, knocking him back slightly. That punch definitely adds some power in it, but not enough for Minato. Now Naruto's on the offensive, turns on his 3 Tomoe Sharingan. This allows him to see Minato's moves before they even happen. Minato was dodging the best he could. He threw out a bunch of new kunai, and was basically teleporting to each one as soon as Naruto caught up to him. This lasted for another 5 seconds. And now, without anyone realizing, Minato charged up another Rasengan, though this time, instead of dodging it, or hitting it back, Naruto would match the Rasengan, and collide his Rasengan with Minato's Rasengan. Minato would realize too late what Naruto is doing, and then their Rasengans collide. A bright flash could be seen all around, and some animals watching were temporarily blinded. The ground everywhere was torn up from the sheer force of the blow. Wind, almost like a hurricane, came around, but the eye of the storm was right above Naruto and Minato, who seemed to be frozen in time. But when everything was over, they were both laying there on the ground. Minato, well, it was bad news. The 4th Hokage's arm was missing. The only part left of it was his shoulder. Same goes for Naruto. They lay there for another 20 seconds, both of them unconscious. Minato had put all of his chakra into that one blow, as that was his plan to finish Naruto off. And Naruto, well, he didn't want to hurt Minato too much, but he did put a lot of chakra into that blow. Not all of his chakra, but definitely a lot. Enough to match Minato's Rasengan, and a little bit more. However, unlike you might think, the fight was decided clear as day. You might think it's a draw. You might think nobody won and nobody lost, but remember the agreement at the beginning? Minato said that Naruto has to be standing after 30 seconds, and that was not the case. Since when the 30-second mark hit, they were both lying on the ground, which means Minato was right. Naruto was not standing. They were both down. However, Minato predicted that Naruto would be down, which means Minato won the bet. And therefore, as sad as it is, Naruto would lose his rank of Jonin and his arm. though the arm could be fixed. Yujito rushed over to Naruto. Killer Bee did the same, and the Raikage slowly walked over too. Then all of the Kage followed and moved in closer to the former father and son duo, laying on the ground opposite to each other, both of them now missing their right arm and hand. To be honest, I didn't expect such strength from you, kid, the Kazekage said. Same, Mei agreed. I was telling you, the Raikage said. But Tsuchikage didn't know what he wanted to say. He was happy Minato had taken a loss, though at the same time he didn't really lose. And Naruto didn't win either, so... Except for Minato's proposal at the beginning, no one actually won the fight. The fight itself ended in a draw. Only the preposition at the beginning, which was that Naruto would have to stand in the arena, well, that was lost, which means that Naruto would officially lose his rank of Jonin in the Hidden Cloud and internationally. I'm sad to say this, kid, but your rank of Jonin is gone. You didn't pass the final test. Therefore, you're demoted from a Jonin, a high-ranking shinobi, to a nobody. And whilst yes, you do technically have shown, you did show enough skill to become a high-level Chunin, and if it wasn't for this bet, a high-ranking Jonin, a deal is a deal afterwards. Which means that your rank is gone. Naruto was only half conscious to hear the Kage's words, and Minato was completely knocked out. Naruto is currently being healed by the tailed beast as best as possible, though it would take a while. Even if it was possible to heal his arm back completely, it wouldn't go very fast. It could take months, even years or decades to fully heal back. So, yeah, this was bad. And for Minato, well, he would never naturally regrow it. There would have to be some mechanical arm used, because else he would never get his arm back. When Naruto and Minato woke up again, they were in hospitals, though separate ones. Naruto was brought back, carried by Yujito. She had to carry him once in a while, since Naruto was always carrying her if something happened. Though she had tears in her eyes, crying at not only the loss of Naruto's title, but the loss of his arm. Though she tried to stay hopeful, as Killer Bee and the Raikage tried to talk to her and soothe her, though they were very sad too. Naruto was a symbol of hope for their village, and a good friend to them too. And Minato was on a hospital bed, with his wife crying on the side. They would never get the chance to say goodbye after their fight, and would never get the chance to say anything or exchange any kind of words. Their fight was over, and they would never get the chance to say anything or exchange any kind of words to each other for a very, very long time. Naruto swore himself that he would train more, become stronger, and not underestimate his opponent any longer. Even if he didn't want to kill them, or hurt them, or put on a show, Naruto would never underestimate anybody. Naruto would fight as if it was a fight for his life, or the life of his loved one. Naruto would fight as the embodiment of a shinobi, the embodiment of the Hidden Cloud village, no longer the Leaf, but his new home, the Hidden Cloud. He would fight for his new family, his friends, and all the villagers unable to fight for themselves. Naruto would continue training, this time more seriously than ever, training almost 10 hours a day, and even doing some exercises in his sleep. Barely training with Yujito, but training alone, as he saw this as a punishment for himself for being so reckless, so dumb, so stupid. Naruto would become somewhat cold-hearted, and not much would be known for quite a while. Though he didn't completely seclude himself from the village like he did before. Naruto trained with his tailed beast, trained his dojutsu, trained his taijutsu, and even trained his summonings and his senjutsu. The art of Sage Chakra. Naruto became a warrior like no other. A warrior powerful enough to probably take down the gods. A warrior so powerful he could be the third rival of Hashirama and Madara. The Kages? They would be a warm-up for him. Naruto would have much bigger aspirations than any Kage or title. But that's where I'm going to leave off the video. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!